Today, I successfully made contact with an intelligent being from Earth. As usual, I completed my daily nutrient intake and arrived at the laboratory without encountering any Earthlings. Surprisingly, there was already an Earthling present. When she noticed me, she greeted me with an exaggerated smile, revealing gleaming white teeth that initially startled me. Luckily, the smile quickly faded, and she returned to her workstation without seeming to notice my discomfort. Feeling at ease after a while, I proceeded to my own workstation. We worked in silence, and I began to wonder if her smile was a form of greeting among Earthlings, despite lacking evidence to support this hypothesis. Suddenly, without warning, she spoke, expressing her realization that she had never asked for my name, which she found rude. I explained that our species does not have individual names but rather addresses each other by titles or professions. She responded sympathetically, mentioning that technici sounded boring and sad to her. I clarified that such identifiers were customary among my kind. She then asked a personal question about the appearance of my species, wondering if we all resembled each other. I confirmed that we indeed had little anatomical variation and shared a similar appearance. She found this astonishing, contrasting it with the diversity in appearance among individuals of her species, who varied in features like skin color, eye color, and height. After this exchange, she seemed surprised by the differences in our species. As she began counting these variations on her fingers, I listened attentively. Before the conversation could continue, Vil entered the lab with a toolbox, mentioning a leak in one of the storage rooms that required attention. Despite initially doubting the validity of their request, I followed Vil and confirmed the leak, spending the rest of my day fixing it and checking for further damage. By the time I completed the task, it was nearly the end of the day, and the Earthling had already left for her break. Reflecting on the day's events, I noted a curiosity that the Earthling might have a fondness for me, although I refrained from drawing conclusions without sufficient evidence. Each alien species perceives Earth and its inhabitants uniquely, some find it strange, others beautiful or terrifying. Yet, they all agree on its uniqueness. As they integrate into Earth's society, aliens may observe its ordinary aspects alongside its complexities. They might comment on the variety and similarities among Earthlings, reflecting on their own species' differences. Through interactions with trusted Earthlings, they navigate cultural norms and nuances, often appreciating the humor that seems abundant among humans. In these moments, an Earthling might chuckle or playfully nudge their alien friend, acknowledging the complexities of interspecies communication and the unexpected similarities and differences that define their interactions. If they smile or just nod, there aren't many things Earthlings unanimously agree upon, but we all find it amusing to exaggerate and spread rumors about ourselves to aliens. It's not lying per se, just revealing the right facts to the right people. For instance, casually mentioning to a species accustomed to frequent bathing that some Earthlings bathe only a few times a week might eventually lead them to believe Earthlings don't bathe at all. Similarly, describing the Sahara Desert to someone from an ice planet could lead them to believe Earthlings live in volcanic centers. The alien smiles or subtly shows signs of amusement, realizing that none of the rumors they heard before coming here were true. That does sound like Earthlings, doesn't it? A species that enjoys spreading rumors about themselves because they find it amusing. As I continued my duties, the conversation with the Earthling replayed in my mind. Humans' penchant for humor and their diverse behaviors were endlessly fascinating. Their ability to derive amusement from self-deprecation and spreading outlandish rumors was both puzzling and endearing. In the following weeks, my interactions with Sarah, as I later learned her name to be, grew more frequent. Each encounter became a learning experience. One day, Sarah brought a colorful object to the lab and introduced it to me as a Rubik's Cube. "It's a puzzle. Try to make each face a single color," she explained. Intrigued, I manipulated the cube with my appendages, finding the challenge both stimulating and frustrating. "This requires a lot of spatial reasoning," I remarked. "Yeah, it does. It's just one of the many puzzles we humans love," Sarah responded with a friendly smile, which I now understood. Our conversations often delved into discussions about our respective cultures. I learned about human art, music, and literature, and I shared the history and customs of my species. Sarah showed particular interest in our communal decision-making processes and our prioritization of collective well-being over individual desires. During a quiet moment in the lab one day, Sarah asked a thoughtful question, "Do you miss your home planet?" I paused, reflecting on the question. "I do, but being here, learning about your species and sharing knowledge has been incredibly rewarding," I replied. Sarah nodded in understanding. "I feel the same way about meeting aliens. It's amazing how different and yet how similar we all are." Our bond deepened, and Sarah became more than just a colleague. She became a friend who made the vast, unfamiliar universe feel a bit more like home. The Galactic Alliance took notice of our growing camaraderie, seeing it as a symbol of potential harmony between different species. Joint projects were proposed, combining human ingenuity with the unique skills of my people. These collaborations yielded remarkable results, from technological advancements to groundbreaking scientific discoveries. However, not everything was smooth sailing. The Dren, still harboring resentment, launched a surprise attack on a remote research station. This time, humans and my species stood together, ready to defend our shared interests. Sarah and I coordinated our efforts, blending our strengths to repel the attackers. It was a testament to the power of unity and the importance of understanding and respecting each other's capabilities. After the battle, a formal ceremony honored those who had defended the station. Representatives from various species spoke, praising the courage and cooperation displayed. When it was my turn to speak, I looked at Sarah and said, "Today, we have shown that strength lies not just in our abilities, but in our willingness to stand together, to learn from each other, and to protect what we hold dear." Sarah stepped forward, adding, "We've learned that peace is not merely the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice, understanding, and mutual respect. Together, we can achieve wonders." The crowd erupted in applause, and I felt a surge of hope. The journey had been challenging, and there were more challenges ahead, but with allies like Sarah and the combined wisdom of our species, I was confident we could navigate whatever the future held. As the ceremony concluded and we returned to our duties, I reflected on how far we had come. The Earthling who had once startled me with her smile had become a trusted friend and ally. Together, we were shaping a new narrative for our galaxy, one where diversity was celebrated, and unity was our greatest strength.